Alright guys, we're back at our African Air Ordnance range, 80-meter range. And today, what I'm doing is looking at the numbers for the 40 grain slugs. I've got the Javelin 40 grain, and also I've got an African Air Ordnance 45 grain slug. I just want to see what the numbers are like before we mess with the regulator. So it's going to be a bit on the slow side because I have to single shot load these guys. So here goes the Javelins. 40 grain slugs. So I'm just doing this just to kind of see what the numbers are like. Obviously, we're going to work from there with adjusting the regulator, and I'm going to do also do that in this video. I'm going to show you guys how to take the rifle apart and take the regulator out and adjust it. So, not really trying to do a whole lot of accuracy here, just getting the numbers. Alright, so the next one we're going to do is a 45 grain. This is a slug I'll make for myself. So I just kind of see what it's going to push these out at. Just to get a kind of rough idea. So we're just going to, and I'll put a picture of these, a close up of these for you guys. And I will post a picture in this video with the target, so I wouldn't go anything too bad, but for now we're just looking at speed. That was a bit of a flyer. These big slugs don't really like such a low speed, but we're just doing this for the science right now. And we'll do one more. Alright, so that kind of gives us the numbers now as the rifle comes. So next step I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rifle apart for you guys, and then we'll take the regulator out, we'll adjust the regulator, and we'll put up the numbers in. The idea is to try and get a 40 grain slug over 1,000 feet per second, which I think is very doable in this rifle. Alright guys, I'll see you now. Alright, so we're back from the range. I've got the gun on the bench. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take off the stock of the rifle. So there's just 2 screws that hold the stock on. Okay. There's no need to drop these screws out. We'll take the stock off with them in it. We'll take them off. Turn the rifle. Okay, we're just going to lift the stock. Okay, I'm going to place that there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bleed out the remaining air that's inside the gun. Okay, and what's nice about this is that we have this little bleed screw, just like that. And we're just going to let the air out. Alright, so we're back. It takes about 15 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how much air you have in the gun, to drain the reservoir. So the first thing I'd suggest doing is, or recommend doing, is actually to tighten this little bleed screw back on again. Because when you do reassemble and you come to refill, it will just bleed out when you're trying to fill. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this whole plenum reservoir off, along with the bottle. So the easiest way to do this is just simply to come to the back here. There's 2 screws that hold it on. So the first one, they're 2 different size Allen keys. The first one, you just slot it in there. You want to be careful you don't disconnect this link, but if you do, you can reset it. So we're just going to undo these. There's that one there at the back. Alright. And then the one in the front. And those are the only 2 that hold this plenum and the valve and everything on. They're the only 2. Okay. So I'm not going to take them out. And the next thing is, we're going to gently just slide this out, because we don't want to scratch that plenum or anything. So that's that. We're just going to put this down quickly. Alright, we're just going to put this over here. Alright, so to check that you totally emptied out the air in here, just press on the valve stem at the back, just to make sure. Obviously, if there was pressure stored in here, we tried to undo this. It'd be very hard to undo for one, but and also 2, it'd be quite dangerous. So the first thing we want to do is we want to unscrew this plenum tube from this block, the front block. Okay, it's the first thing we want to do. It's quite a long thread. Okay, so that's the front block for the air system on the Vulcan 3. Okay, we're just going to put that aside, right there. So next thing is you want to get this valve block off at the back, or valve assembly, whichever you prefer to call it. The very first time you do this, it's going to be very difficult to do, and you've got to get quite a big, preferably a drill bit the same size as that hole, and stick it in there to break the seal on it. But for now, we'll just do it like that. Can be quite difficult to get off, because it's got a big O-ring in there, so I'll show you. Okay, so that is basically the valve body, the poppet. Hopefully that comes out. Right, so we're just going to put that there. So now in the tube, it might be a bit hard to see, but the regulator sits just here. So to get that out, you just have to find something available. I've got a spare piece of aluminium tube, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to push that down like that. We're going to push the regulator. You don't always, to adjust it, you don't have to take it out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out just to show you what it looks like. Okay. So this is the regulator. And this regulator is awesome. And this is what you can do to, by adjusting, you can do it to increase the power or decrease the power. Okay. Alright, so let's get into how to adjust the regulator. I just want to advise you guys that the first time to do this is just to do it incrementally. Okay, I've done it, so I kind of know where I want to be. But the first thing you got to do is you got to grab yourself a number 10 spanner, right? That's going to fit on a little nut. Next thing you want to do, okay, is your Allen key. I'm going to do it like this. So the best thing to do is when you first adjust it, is to do it in a quarter turn like that. Okay. So, and then you reassemble it and you go test and see where your power level is at. But I'm going to be naughty and I am going to, so that was where you do your first adjustment. And then if you're not happy with the power level there, and after you've cronied it, then you can adjust it to there. Always do it in small increments like that at first when you first do it. Don't just go and do a big old dial in. Because if you actually open this regulator too much, you may actually cause what's called valve lock, and you actually will not get the power you're looking for. So you want to work in increments. And the first time, this is not the first time I'm doing it. So the first time you do it, I would highly suggest just doing it in increments. And also depending on the type of pellet weight you want to shoot. So that's a nice close look at the rig. So that's how you adjust it. So the next thing we got to do is just reassemble everything, fill it with air, and then go test it. Alright, let's put the regulator back in. So first we're going to put some nice silicone grease all over both O-rings. Lube them up nicely. Next thing is we want to okay, so this can be quite difficult to get. There we go. So now we're just going to push it all the way in, just to the bottom. Okay. The next thing we want to do is we want to just flip that over and take the valve body. Again, we're going to give this nice bit of silicone grease or lube. I'm going to spray in the air can, just with this silicone oil. Now, just going to get this guy started on the thread. There we go. And as you screw it in deeper, it gets a bit harder to do. Just gotta grip that really hard. Okay, so now it's screwed all the way in. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna lube the air bottle block. Some nice lubrication on that. Okay. And I want to make sure that goes in nicely. And alright, so we're just going to keep screwing this in. More times. Just back it up, there we go. So we just got to make sure that these are lined up with the 2 grub screws on the receiver. So we're just going to test that quick. Slide that in. Just going to make sure those holes are aligned. Oh, that's good. Okay. Next thing we do is we're going to tighten in. Just like that. I'm going to tighten the next one, also just like that. Okay. Nice and tight. Okay. And then the final thing is to put the stock back on. So get that over. Screw these in. One there. Alright, so that's how you reinstall the regulator in the Vulcan 3. Alright guys, we're back on the range. We've made those adjustments to the regulator. Now let's see how those 40 grain javelins shoot. So we're going to do about 10 shots for the string just to see what it's like. The numbers are pretty consistent, I like that. And the javelins also seem to like the higher velocity. Alright guys, so that's the javelins, the 40 grains. Pretty happy. Our goal is to hit 1,000 feet per second with the on a 700mm barrel with a 40 grain javelin. I think it's pretty awesome. So next thing we're going to do is we will do the 45 grain African Air Ordnance slugs. Alright, let's see how the 45 grain slugs go. I must say with this particular tune on this gun, it's very, very consistent. Alright guys, so there you have it. So we adjusted the regulator. We got over the 1,000 feet per second with the 40 grain javelins, and I'm pretty happy with the numbers with a 45 grain slug. It's awesome, and you guys will obviously see the groups, and I must say a lot better at this higher speed. Guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. We'll do more target shooting, we'll shoot some stuff, and guys, please like and subscribe to the channel, and have a great day.